This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Wednesday, the 18th day of August in the year 2021. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. Guyana and Suriname this afternoon wrapped up the first day of high-level talks between the two presidents and their delegations at the Arthur Chang Convention Center as part of the Surinamese president's 4-day official visit to this country. President Irfan Ali said the two sides are looking to enhance collaboration geared towards improving the lives of citizens of both Guyana and Suriname. The president said the meetings are not time-wasting ones, but rather they are examining decisions to advance the commitments already made between the two countries. The president said new areas of collaboration have already been discussed, including the environment, the oil and gas sector, and the likelihood of establishing a common gas strategy for Guyana and Suriname. In addition, the two presidents also discussed local content legislation and legislation governing local content policy, tourism, and linkages between Guyana, Suriname, and Brazil. They also focused on infrastructure, agriculture, and trade, as well as enhanced security. The president last evening said it will be a packed agenda over the next days.
So we have started today, this evening he came in. I'm very happy that we have such large private sector contingent, and I'm very happy also that the two private sectors have been able to meet initially this evening, and there's a lot of energy and a lot of opportunity out of the collaboration between the private sector, and we as leaders have to facilitate that by creating the right environment, the right policy mix that would ensure that the private sector are the real engines and drivers of the growth and development. So I think the framework has been set for a very productive and fruitful couple of days in which I'm sure many decisions will be made in the interest of the people of both countries.
The Surinamese President Chan Santoki said the engagement allows for the advancement of important discussions between Guyana and Suriname. He also reiterated the importance of Guyana as a neighbor as well as a strategic partner for Suriname. More news coming up in just a moment.
What's our purpose? Together we rise. For our community, our customer, and our country. Our promises: strengthen our community, reliably connect our customers, innovate for all in our country. Together we rise.
Take your shot, get back to your life. Take your shot, take your shot, take your shot, get back to your life.
A message from Republic Bank.
We've got exciting news! All 12-ounce yellow cab Buster are now only $100. Buster, live in
Come
full
get
color.
your Buster, $100. Come get your Buster, $100.
I'm in a rush. Digicel got me in a rush. Driving style for the summer. Digicel Summer Rush.
Nobody's doing it big like Digicel this summer. Top up with $1,000 or more and collect the letters to spell the word RUSH for a chance to win one of 3 brand new Toyota Rush SUVs. Yes, you heard it right. 3 brand new Toyota Rush SUVs.
Driving style for the summer. Hey, Digicel Summer Rush.
Start topping up now.
Mom, what are you doing with GPL on your list?
Child, you forgot I have to pay GPL?
You got time with GPL.
I have to keep these lights on. The customers who think in that manner and refuse to honor their obligation to GPL are obviously not playing their part in ensuring quality service delivery. So, I will continue to pay my GPL bill on time, every time.
I recognize the value of your point, Mom. You were right.
Let GBTI make your dreams of owning a home a reality. Buy or build your home with us. Let us help you to completely outfit your home and make it move-in ready. Need to purchase land? We finance that too. Benefit from our 10% down payment and interest rates as low as 4.25%. Calculated on the reducing balance with up to 30 years to repay. Switch your mortgage to us and learn about benefiting from the equity in your home. Invest wisely. Apply online or call your branch to schedule an appointment. GBTI, we see Guyana through your eyes.
Welcome back. Vice President Barra Jagdeo has poured cold water on a notion that the country will start seeing real wealth from the proceeds from oil soon. Responding to questions from the Baker Institute Center for Energy Studies in the U.S., Mr. Jagdeo said although the country has been receiving oil revenues, he does not classify the country as a wealthy one, noting that it will take years before Guyanese start seeing real wealth and benefits from the oil resources.
Oil revenue at the magnitude that would see major flows to Guyana, it's not coming for the next few years. We still have to $300-400 million a year now. It's not a lot of money, and many people think, oh, the wealth will come tomorrow or it's here today, and suddenly we have to start splurging. We have to live within our means for quite a while into the future.
Mr. Jagdeo said while the government is focusing on the oil economy, it will also invest heavily in the non-oil sector so that the country will not only depend on proceeds from oil. In the meantime, though, he said the oil revenues will be used to raise the standard of living of Guyanese. On the question of direct cash transfers to Guyanese, the vice president does not see it as feasible currently.
So a lot of people believe we have a lot of money to give. Like before the elections, one gentleman said that we must give every Guyanese family $5,000 per annum. So when you multiply 200,000 households, that's $1 billion per annum, and we're only collecting maybe 300 million. So, and people actually believed it. So sometimes, you know, for political purposes, people raise expectations. So that's why we have to constantly be out there talking to people.
In 2018, as opposition leader, Mr. Jagdeo said he would back conditional cash transfers to citizens. 1 year later, in 2019, he said his party would support targeted cash transfers. By 2020, Mr. Jagdeo said the issue would have to be closely examined. During the forum in Texas yesterday, the vice president said he envisions that the oil revenue will be used to fund projects to develop the people as well as world-class health and education. He is currently leading a government and private sector delegation at a major oil and gas conference in Houston, Texas. The Guyana Agricultural and General Workers Union GAWU today raised concern about the disregard for the rights of workers by several companies involved in the oil and gas sector in Guyana. Union officials met with the Labour Minister Joe Hamilton this afternoon, and it was explained to the minister that since the union launched its oil and gas branch a few weeks ago, workers in the oil and gas sector have reached out regularly with complaints of exploitation across the various companies. The union said the rights of many of the workers are being ignored and disregarded by their foreign and local bosses. GAWU explained that in many instances, workers are being denied overtime payments and days off, adding that the companies have been operating with impunity against the Guyanese workers. The union also raised worry about workers being threatened with dismissals and being intimidated. According to the union, it has uncovered a naked discrimination where foreigners are rewarded much more richly than locals, though undertaking the same task. The Labour Minister said his ministry was aware of similar situations and remains committed to ensuring that the rights of workers are not violated. He intends to have the Chief Labour Officer meet with the companies to address the concerns raised and issues regarding the rights of the Guyanese workers. The COVID-19 death toll in Guyana made a jump to 587 today as the country recorded an additional 5 deaths. A 17-year-old boy from Region 4 is among the latest COVID fatalities. 4 of the 5 most recent deaths are from Region 4. In the past 3 days alone, the Ministry of Health reported 13 new COVID-19 deaths. The number of new cases has also been rising steadily. Based on the figures released by the Ministry of Health, the country has recorded 639 new cases of the virus in the past 7 days. The country now has 1,068 active cases of COVID-19. Of that number, 980 are recovering at home, while 88 are hospitalized. The COVID-19 ICU has 15 patients. There is the fear that the fast-spreading and deadlier Delta variant of the virus is present in Guyana. The Ministry of Health has not dispatched any samples for sequence testing for the variant, but the ministry is encouraging more persons to get vaccinated. Guyana has recorded more COVID-19 deaths and new cases in the past 4 months than it did in the first year of the virus being present in the country. Let's tell you now that several Cuban specialist doctors who recently arrived in Guyana as part of the Cuban Medical Brigade will be assisting at the Infectious Diseases Hospital at Liliendal, which houses COVID-19 patients. Most of the doctors specialize in offering intensive care treatment. The Health Minister, Dr. Frank Anthony, explained that those who will be posted at the COVID-19 hospital are certified physicians who provide specialized care for critically ill patients in intensive care units.
The composition of the new doctors, we have changed that a little bit because we try to prioritize where we have the greatest needs right now. And the greatest needs would be in the management of COVID-19 patients.
It was also explained that specific requests were made for the intensive care doctors because of the COVID-19 situation in the country.
We need people who can operate our intensive care unit. And as you know, we have expanded that unit to have now about 45 beds with ventilators and monitors and so forth. So when you have a patient in the intensive care unit, it's quite an intensive process, meaning that the doctor-nurse ratio per patient is almost like a one-on-one ratio. So you need a lot of people to be able to monitor these patients.
There are more than 50 persons currently hospitalized at the Ocean View facility at Liliendal. The country has been seeing a steady increase in new cases and hospitalizations in the past few weeks, with fears of another spike in cases of the virus or the spread of the Delta variant being in Guyana. The Attorney General Anil Nandlal has moved to the High Court to quash a magistrate's decision to grant bail to the 2 Brazilian men who were busted with over 1,000 pounds of cocaine after making that emergency landing in Guyana. The court action has been filed against Magistrate Alex Moore and the 2 Brazilians, who are also named as respondents in the matter. The Brazilian nationals Andre Pereira and Salim de Almizer were first charged for cocaine trafficking and remanded to jail on the 27th of May. However, during one of their appearances in court on the 22nd of July, Magistrate Alex Moore granted the 2 men bail in the sum of $3 million on the drug trafficking charge. Now, the Attorney General wants that decision to grant the 2 foreign nationals bail completely quashed. The Attorney General contends that the decision by the magistrate to grant bail to the men was in excess of his jurisdiction, and that there was a failure to satisfy or observe conditions or procedures required by law. The Attorney General in his application said the magistrate acted unreasonably, irregularly, and improperly in exercising his direction, and his actions amount to an abuse of power. The Attorney General in his submission also explained that Section 94 of the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Control Act prohibits the granting of bail unless there are special reasons for doing so, and that no special reasons in law were proffered in the case. Additionally, the Attorney General wants the court to grant an order to suspend the bail granted to the men for having entered Guyana by air illegally and not through a port of entry. The men were charged under the Immigration Act and were granted bail in the sum of $50,000 for that offense. This afternoon, Justice Sandel Kisun granted a temporary order blocking bail. The two Brazilian men were arrested after making an emergency landing with their small Brazilian-registered aircraft along a roadway in Oriala in the Berbice region. It is suspected that they might have been heading to Suriname or Venezuela from Brazil. Police from the region were among the first to arrive on the scene, and they found over 450 packets of cocaine in the plane. The two Brazilian men were immediately taken into custody and the plane and its illegal cargo confiscated. The men reportedly told investigators that they were forced to land in Guyana with their pricey illegal cargo because of bad weather and low fuel. Let's tell you now that Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandlal met today with representatives of U.S. law enforcement agencies and complained about persons, including Guyanese, who live in the U.S. and use the internet and social media to threaten peace and stability in Guyana. In a statement, the Attorney General said that during the meeting at his office, he raised the issue of persons operating on the airwaves and in social media who are resident in the U.S., but by their constant publications, they are threatening the peace, stability, and public order in Guyana, while exciting racial hostilities in the country, and he says he sees that as a new and emerging problem which will have to be confronted sooner than later. The Attorney General told the U.S. security officials who are based at the embassy that even the U.S. ambassador to Guyana is the subject of attacks from the persons he described as reckless and fringe elements. The Attorney General reaffirmed the Guyana government's continued commitment to partner and work closely with the U.S. and the security services in the U.S. for the benefit of both nations, as he highlighted that tackling crime is a priority of the government of Guyana. The U.S. team updated the Attorney General on a number of areas in the legal sector that the U.S. government will enlist the support of the Attorney General's chambers, in particular organized financial crimes, extraditions, deportations, and the prosecution of fugitives who may have committed offenses in either Guyana or the U.S. or in both countries. The discussions also focused on certain strategic areas which need to be addressed, especially in the area of forensic investigations by collaboration between the two countries. A few weeks ago, a criminal complaint was filed against the Attorney General in New York by well-known Guyanese political activist Rickford Burke over alleged harassing statements that the Attorney General allegedly directed towards him. The Attorney General has denied the accusations.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
We've got exciting news! All 12-ounce yellow cab Buster are now only $100. Buster, live in
Come
full
get
color.
your Buster, Buster $100. Dollar, come get your Buster, Buster $100.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right, walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong, be the one to live right.
What's our purpose? Together we rise. For our community, our customer, and our country. Our promises: strengthen our community, reliably connect our customers, innovate for all in our country. Together, we rise.
Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up. Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across the region tonight in St. Lucia, the new St. Lucian government will appoint a special prosecutor to probe the allegations of corruption against the former administration of Alan Chastanet. The announcement was made by the Deputy Governor General, Errol Charles. Chastanet's United Workers' Party was swept out of office in the July 26 general election, when it won only 2 seats in the 17-member parliament, down from the 11 seats it had enjoyed in the 2016-2021 period. The St. Lucia Labour Party, under the leadership of Philip J. Pierre, won 13 seats, with 2 independents also being victorious at the polls. Delivering the traditional throne speech at the start of the new parliamentary session on Tuesday, Charles told the legislators that his government, in recognition of the widespread unprecedented reports of alleged corruption during the term of the last administration, will appoint a special prosecutor to investigate the allegations of corruption in the government. He said the appointment is expected to be completed soon, and the government will strengthen the Integrity Commission to return the island to a system that respects democratic norms and the rights of the people. As some Caribbean citizens continue to fight against mandatory vaccinations against COVID, CARICOM Chairman Prime Minister of Antigua Gaston Brown says the percentage of fully vaccinated residents is unacceptably low in the region. He said he fears that the low numbers put herd immunity out of reach for the near future. The Prime Minister said CARICOM needs to correct this, and that they have continued to stand together to fight the issue of vaccine hesitancy, which is perhaps the most significant threat to the region at this time. He said member states of CARICOM need to refloat their economies while keeping the people of the region safe, and to place themselves in a position to take advantage of the spike in tourism demand that several member states are currently experiencing. The Prime Minister said the region must not be daunted by the challenges of getting access to vaccines while battling vaccine hesitancy among the populations. He noted that countries across the world are experiencing their 3rd, 4th, and 5th waves of infections, while the region is tackling access to vaccines. Brown was speaking at the virtual installation ceremony of Dr. Carla Barnett as the 8th Secretary General of CARICOM. And finally tonight, international news. At least 1,941 persons are known to have died in Haiti in Saturday's powerful earthquake, a rise of more than 500 on the previous figure officials there have confirmed. Rescue workers have managed to pull 34 people alive from the rubble, but many are still missing after the 7.2 magnitude earthquake. The search for survivors has been hampered by heavy rains brought this week by Tropical Storm Grace. Nearly 10,000 people have been injured and hospitals were left overwhelmed. The United Nations says about 500,000 children now have limited or no access to shelter, safe water, and food. Many have been staying in makeshift tents erected on a football field in one of the cities worst affected by the quake. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.